because I'm going to take you through a personal journey of my life, and I hope out of that journey you are able to elicit some of the valuable stuff that you might catch up. You know, I don't know whatever you'll catch up, but I'm just going to tell a story and then you'll pick up. Basically, Njabulo is a boy from KZN, Durban, born there, raised there, grew up there. And it happened that he has been exposed into different sort of communities, like the suburban life, born there, because my mom was a domestic worker working for white people there. And that's how we got to stay there, basically, because she received us there. So time went by, we go to the rural areas, sort of like semi-rural areas, not really deep rural areas, where life started to begin to be more serious. And then I got shaken into a dilemma of my family having to break apart. And me, my sister, and my mom had to move and go find a room to rent because we couldn't afford to buy or build ourselves a house. And as a result of that, I found myself in my teenage years sharing a room with two women, eating in the same place, bathing in the same place. Imagine how that feels like your peers come from their home and you know that you have a home, but you can't go to that home. So as a child, you start to develop things. We had a way. My mom went extra mile to sacrifice for us, to show us that love that we needed as her kids, to be there for us, to make sure we have food, we have clothes, we have everything, to look like the rest of the people. And only to find out that when I got into my teenage years, I got peer influence, whereby I started now bunking school and not going to school, started the township thing of dancing, being cool, I've realized that, certain things that kids do sometimes, like being cool or what, sometimes they are masking some certain voids that are really happening inside them that are deeply serious. But you think that this child, he's silly, he's cool, or what, but it's just an escape zone for the child. So I bunked school at some point during my first year in high school, and we continued doing this bunking school, going smoke weed sometimes, and also, not going to school, basically. Pitching up only when we were writing some test and also failing, And one day I'm realizing I'm in these multiracial schools, And I'm realizing every now and then when I'm going back home after bunking that, hey, my mom, does she know that I've never been to school? So in that moment, I was struck up by the why of my existence. You understand? Do I understand the conditions? Where do I really come from? Do I really want to remain in the same pattern of life, or do I want to make a difference out of my own family? So that kept on driving me. And at some point, you got robbed somewhere in Albert Park in Durban. We were bunking school, gun pointed and stuff. That was a real wake-up call. And I was like, guys, I'm no longer bunking now at school. I'm gonna be at school full time. So I go to school, and that year the teachers saw my attitude now is changing. I was condoned. First time being condoned in my life in school. I've never been condoned, and it was a disaster for me. I wasn't even afraid to show the reports to my mom. That mom, this is my report, and because I felt like I had that accountability over my family. You understand? And if my mom looks at me as her only boy amongst the girls, she has high hopes, you see. And okay, that year I just had somehow a strange dream at night. The dream was like I was going with a group of friends, and what struck me about the dream is that a woman approached us, and I was with a group of boys, and this boy said, this old woman gave me 40 cents. It was like 40 cents on my hand. And I was like, a small amount of money like this, what am I going to do with this money? And she said one thing to me: you must learn. So that struck me because I kept on thinking about it. You must learn, you must learn, you must learn. I started going to libraries, going to reading books. I discovered that books that I really, really like were psychology-based books, basically. Self-improvement kind of books, those type of books. And then I focused on those books. And then I remember pitching up at my mom's employers at some day. They asked me, what do I want to become when I grow up? And I said, no, I want to be a psychologist. And they said, whoa, that's so hectic. You, psychology, why not a soccer star or something, you know? And I was like, yeah, but I like psychology, you know. And years went by, and when I finished school, I realized that all my subjects were on higher grade, and I'm doing science stuff. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, now it's half the term, and okay, all my subjects have dropped to a standard grade. And how did that happen? So, okay, bear in mind, you are studying, trying to do homework in one room. Maybe your mom is coming from work, you want to watch TV. They're cooking, someone maybe is doing other things, and you can't really focus and put all your energy on studying at that time. So for me, it was very stressful at times because I had to study using headsets most of the time and listening to music. Finished school, came to Joburg, and fortunately, I sort of like found a work at OR Tambo because I didn't know what I was going to study. My marks were not brilliant as such that I'll get a scholarship, go to a university and stuff and study. So my main aim was like, I'm going to be a policeman or something. You know, I'm fit, I'm an athletic, I'm going to be a policeman, you see. But life didn't lead me to those directions either as well. And I ended up working at an airport, also not staying with my cousins, staying with family friends now, here in Joburg, in Tembisa. Yeah, I stayed in Tembisa with family friends. When I got a job, a few months after getting a job, I got diagnosed with a mental illness, which is bipolar mood disorder. And the most devastating part, when they told me that, you know what, you're gonna use this medication for the rest of your life. And I was like, what? What is bipolar? I started making research now, what bipolar is, how is it like. I started attending therapy sessions and stuff. I've realized that, you know what, maybe psychology was my kind of job to do, you see. And, okay, I had to go back home to Durban. I had no options to recover from my mental instability. And when I went to Durban, I took some gap years. I was motivated to go to school again. They hustled again back at home. Njabulo, you know what, you can still do it. I want to go, and I was also willing to do it because I want to make a difference, you see. You see, if you want something other than yourself to reach out for, then you're always willing to go forward in life, you see. And I stood up, despite the mental illness, despite the circumstances. I went back to college, went to Rosebank College. But what was the motivating factor now? It's the will to power. It's to study because I'm gonna get X amount of money, and I'm gonna come back home and do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You understand? So it's money motivated now. So I go there to Rosebank College. First 6 months, I failed badly again. I'm doing internet engineering because I'm motivated by money now. I'm not motivated by meaning and purpose in life. And what happened was I failed, and then they gave up on me straight away at home. They said no. They gave up straight away from me. That they can't do anything for me now, so I have to find my own way out. And then even the money that I used for studying that internet engineering was borrowed from an Absa bank. So it was a loan. So it's supposed to be paid. So now, and I've messed it up. And came a time whereby I took a gap year. I said, no, I'm going to get a gap year. I started smoking terribly, smoking tobacco and stuff. Yeah, plainly tobacco at that time now, because I was told at the hospital that if you smoke weed, you're gonna be like a rotten cabbage. I was told like that. I was told like that because of my brain cells, basically, and my functionings. So, and then, and then I go, I take a gap year after all the stuff. And then I decided that now I'm going to give back to the community. And then I went to the local organization at nearby my community. And I remember I negotiated with the guy. He knew me, and I explained my story. And he bought my story. He liked my story. And basically I started working with schools, basically. So doing life skills, training, and they also trained me to be a lay counselor. So remember, I'm a person who had no qualification at all because I've tried some things and they failed dismally. Sorry about that. And I've tried and they failed dismally. And came back now to being a lay counselor. Then there was this clinical psychologist from Australia who was also a volunteer at that organization. She was reading a book called Men Search for Meaning. I read the book, it touched me a lot. It's about basically the survival of the Holocaust. Basically the Holocaust, the concentration camp, World War II. So it's touched me a lot because those people went through so much suffering, and I've realized it related to the sufferings that I've felt and the pains that I've felt inside my heart, you see. And then I read the book, I discovered the word logotherapy on the book, and I said, this is the first time I'm hearing the word logotherapy. Where can I find logotherapy? Maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. And then I discovered that I can do logotherapy, UNISA Pretoria. And now another disaster is I have to travel from Durban to Pretoria. Now, how am I going to do that? Where am I going to sleep? Because sometimes when you attend workshops, they are maybe running for 3 days. And where I'm going to spend my nights. You see, thinking about those things. And at that time, I'm a volunteer that side in Durban. So fortunately, I don't know what happened. Another organization pulled me in and said I'm going to be a tutor for young kids. Sort of like a feeding scheme program. But I'm going to give them also life skills and tutor them. And then they were paying me for that. So with that amount of money that they were paying me there, which was not so much, obviously, you know, non-profits, and I managed to sacrifice half of the money to pay for my fees at UNISA Pretoria and to arrange my bookings and everything just to come to Pretoria. So, and another thing is, at that time, when I got to Pretoria, I think I don't know whether people like me or I was good in logotherapy. I don't know. Maybe Leslie would tell more because we were classmates. We started the very same year, we completed the same year. So, and then when I got there, I paid my fees, afforded to travel in and out of Pretoria to Durban, and of which I don't know how it was possible that I was able to do that, you know. Towards the end, I attracted a German supervisor. Then she was sponsoring me out. She was sponsoring me out financially, you know. Then that was able to sustain me for a little while, you see. And I kept on like being pushing to get more. And what I want to say is that in life, no matter what the circumstances are that you are facing, if you always have the right attitude to enjoy your circumstances, you are able to reap good results at the end. Because whatever you sow here, you reap. Every seed that goes here germinates. In as much as you might have a mental illness, somehow you can make rational decisions in life. You can make choices that can affect other people in a positive way. You see, that's the most important thing. And you can always, it doesn't matter how bad you've started or how bad your situation was in the past, but what matters is how are you going to finish, you see. And at this point in time, I'm at a point whereby I'm in between creating some non-profit organizations, non-profit company, things like that, but I'm also working for a non-profit company as a child and youth care worker, of which these things, I don't know how I was able to achieve them or attain them, you understand? But through your behavior and humility towards other mankind, people are able to come and give a supporting hand into your life to help you make it better, you see. So I don't believe in a person being a closed up individual. Yes, it's good to keep small circles of people. I like keeping small circles of people and not large circles of people because I feel like they drain me so much, my energy. I feel weak after that. But as a person, be a person who has an opening to the outer world so that people can be able to reach out to you, you see. Because if you isolate yourself, that means you are disconnecting yourself from the entire cosmic space because everything in the universe is connected. I'd like to end.